energy into her hands. So can you feel that down to your stomach?
Yes.
And into your butt?
Yes.
And into your knees?
Yes.
And into your toes?
Yes.
Cool. So what if you just ask that to turn on when you walk down the street?
Good idea.
Everything doesn't allow that to show up. Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine. Pot, talk, shorts, boys, and beyonds. So I just asked her to concentrate on the parts of her body that sag. I'm just speaking generically, Janice, not personal.
I don't have a point of view, but
And I'm empowering her to show that she has the capacity to turn this energy on. Now, most people like it lying down, and that's fine because you can space out and it's wonderful. And what we're doing with the facelift is we're encouraging the body not to be affected so much by gravity. So if somebody's sitting up, they're in a more realistic position relative to gravity. So if you're doing a series of facelifts, you might have them do it sitting up 1 time out of 10, something like that. Now in the description it says do one position underneath the clavicle. But to me, women's breasts are bigger. You can do one here and one here. So with my thumb resting on the clavicle or collarbone is actually my second position. And I'm tugging just a little bit up. I'm not pressing in at all. I'm just sort of tugging a little bit up. And all of the facelift energies are listed in your book, so you might want to read them. Some people read them seriously out to people during the facelift. I'm too lazy. I just put my hands on and I know it turns on. So just go access energetic facelift and it'll turn on. Now, when she's sitting up, when I get to as high as her neck, I want to support her head. Because if I just push on her neck, she's going to have to push forward and that can create like a strain or a whiplash thing on her neck. But if I use my body as a support, then her neck can stay relaxed. Right, Janice?
yes.
Yeah. And the same thing at the end when you're pushing on the back, and I put my hand on the forehead, again, so she can stay relaxed. And you definitely want to do the neck when you're doing a facelift. I went to see Neil Diamond in concert before he retired, and I was sitting in the front row of the balcony, and so I could, there was nothing but air between me and him, and I could look out and see him. And the guy looked good, but his neck looked like a turkey neck. And I'm like, dude, we should get a facelift. Maybe he has gotten it surgical one, I don't know. But anyway, a lot of times people's age will show up more in their necks than they do even in their face. So you definitely want to spend time on the neck. And then the positions in the facelift are not as precise as bars because everybody's head is shaped differently. And people's hands have different sizes and flexibilities and stuff. So you just want to work your way up. You want to make sure you do the corners of the mouth, corners of the nose, corners of the eye. You get the crow's feet and you just work your way up in a way that's comfortable to both of you. Now, the facelift process, the vision process are the only processes in this book that have all kinds of different energies put together in them. So there's really no limit to what you can use them for. I knew somebody whose partner had surgery on the polyps in her nose, and when her partner did the facelift on her, and when she went to pick up the prescription from the doctor, the nurse thought she hadn't had the surgery yet because she didn't have enough swelling and bruising. There's another woman who lives in Abu Dhabi, and her mother came from India to visit her, and she fell and she broke some ribs. So she had to go home in a wheelchair. And so the mother knew the facelift. That was the only body process she knew. So she did facelift on herself. Facelift, access energetic facelift on her broken ribs. And then later this woman talked to her cousin who was in her 20s and found out that the mother who was in her 60s could walk faster than the 20-year-old cousin with broken ribs.
Cool.
So you can get all kinds of miracles with facelifts. One woman used it on her husband to get hair to grow back. And then you just work your way up. You want to be really careful with the skin under the eyes because it's kind of thin and sensitive.
Now, are you just resting your hands, or you have a?
I'm tugging just a little teeny bit.
Let's speak.
whole time, when she's sitting, I'm bracing her head against my upper body. And you really wanna do the whole head. So you wanna spend a little bit of time on the back of the neck, the back of the head. And then you finish off by kinda like tying it together like this, just like a surgeon would. Now, don't do this to make yourself look good. I had a friend who did a class with me, and his partner looked much younger than his true age, and the partner had been paid to do a lot of facelifts. He hadn't received a lot of facelifts, but he'd been paid to do a lot of them, and he looked very young. So my friend said, Casey, you should spend more time demonstrating facelift in class. You would look better. Thank you, my elf friend. So there we go. Any questions?
Can't think of any.
My question would, can I feel it so I know what way you're pulling? Like, are you pulling up, or are you pulling out?
Pulling
Like,
up.
Up. Oh,
Against
so
gravity.
everything comes up, okay.
Yeah.
Face
Okay.
lift.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. In France, they call it the lifting.
Okay.
The lifting.
Thank you. And what did you ask her at the beginning again?
I just had her feel the energy into her stomach, into her butt, into her knees. Those are the places that sag. And then all the way down into her toes. In the book, it says, if someone's coming in for a series and it feels like the energy's not moving, then go to their feet. And then people say, well, how long should I do the feet for? And I would say, you know, if you run it on the feet for 10 minutes and then it turns off, then go back to the face. If it runs for the whole time on the feet, well, then that was the session. But you might have to tell the client a story, you know, like, we found this runs really even more dramatically with the feet than it does with the face, because otherwise they're gonna think I paid for his facelift and all she did was do my feet, you know?
Well,
You gotta talk to their
everything is
insane
tied.
minds.
It's tied to everything.
Right. Other questions?
Well, I had one woman that, it wouldn't turn on touching her face. She
Uh-huh.
just had all kinds of stuff around it. And so I went to her feet and did some clearings,
Uh-huh,
went back up to her head and started running implant band.
uh-huh.
You know, like the first part of bars.
Uh-huh.
And she was like, oh, I can feel, it's so tremendous. I'm like, okay, how cool is that?
People are crazy. They're
Yeah.
crazy. They're really crazy.
But she paid me the price for the facelift.
Cool. There you go. So it does talk about running bars in combination with facelift. So when would you do this? So really the facelift, to do a good job, takes like an hour and 15 minutes or so, or to an hour and a half. So if someone came to me and they'd done a lot of access, I probably wouldn't necessarily do bars, especially if they only came for an hour. But if someone came, even if they came for an hour and they had no experience of access other than the facelift, I'd at least do the implant band and the aging toaster, because you might be the only person in their entire life that knows about indefinite living, and their body doesn't have to break down and die, so you've got to give them at least that little invitation. That's how I would choose. Okay. How's that?
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.